it moved every part about who I was, and all the hairs on my arms stood up, and the hair on the back of my head stood up.
What is expression? What does the music say to you?
It turns that piece of me that I've suppressed back on, right?
We need to find a way of creating a culture of excellence again.
We step into the liturgy. We step into the work of God. We're stepping into Jesus' prayer to the Father.
And I think that's what great music does. It's an invitation from Christ through the artist to lift up our hearts.
Hey, brother. I believe this is still the Schuylkill River, which is really hard to spell. Schuylkill. There's like lots of consonants. But again, like this is just a gorgeous, quiet oasis that's right outside Center City. In 10, 15 minutes, you can be in the middle of the concrete jungle. Yeah, but here it's quiet and just absolutely gorgeous.
I feel like everybody's little kid comes out when you're marching through the woods.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard not to sit here and not want to sing, you know, not feel inspiration and everything else. I have to believe that that's been the case from the beginning of human history. It's like we wanted to sing. So I guess my question is just like, where did music come from?
To me, there's a symphony. There's a symphony that is eternal and moving and powerful and beautiful, and it's transcribed now in us. And so we're made to make music. Music it comes from God.
Hey, it's Greg and Andrea from the Vigil Project. We are here today to tell you about the biggest project that we have ever undertaken as an organization, and we have been waiting for this day to be able to tell you about it, so we're happy that it's finally here.
We are so excited to announce to you that we are embarking on the production of an 8-part film series called The Meaning of Music.
So one of the things that I think is a blast about this project is just we'd be fools if we thought that we were the experts, you know, that we're the ones who should be sitting in front of the bookshelf giving all the answers to all the questions that we have about Catholic music. Quite the contrary. I think we're just the ones who are passionate enough, maybe a little crazy enough to go out and find the answers. And so, you know, that's what I'm excited about is that we want to bring you along to go discover the people, go discover the experiences that provide answers and context so that we can unwrap this gift of music that God's given us.
At the beginning, in the kind of beginning stages of the development, we were just like, how do you tackle music in its entirety? How in the world do you approach this? It's an impossibility in a lot of ways. But we have sort of discovered that there's really like 2 major spectrums, so to speak, that we want to uncover more of.
So you can kind of think of the whole film series playing out on these 2 spectrums that Andrea is talking about. It's kind of how we think about it. And those 2 are, the first one's a geographic one. And that's from, you know, the Vatican, where, you know, in terms of Catholic ideals and ideology and theology and everything else, philosophy, like that's where it's all kind of housed, and that's where the ideal is given to us. From there all the way to the developing countries like Africa and even further beyond there. We want to see kind of on that spectrum, what does music look like in the life of Catholics, in the life of the universal church? And the other spectrum is kind of like a social spectrum, if you will. And the way we say it, that's just kind of funny, is from the door of the church to the door of the bar. And what we mean by that is just that as Catholics, our life, you know, we live a moment of our life as Catholics within the Mass, but it goes far beyond that, right? You know, and we find ourselves at the door of our car before we're commuting to work, and at the door of our job, at the door of our home, and yes, at least I hope so, at the door of the bar from time to time, and then back again to the door of the church. And so the idea there is we're exploring not just a moment in Catholic life, not just music as it pertains to the Mass, but music as it pertains to our entire existence as someone who believes in Jesus and who practices our faith as a Catholic.
As a Catholic exploring this topic of music, sometimes it can be a divisive conversation. Sometimes it can be one that actually tends to be a us and them versus a we conversation. And we want to know why.
And I think that's something that we could gain a lot from, especially in our life with Christ, our life as believers, as followers, is if we came to understand, like, how does this whole gift of music that God's given us really work together?
This is by far the biggest project we've ever undertaken. This is an 8-episode film series, and we can't do it alone. And we feel so called to do this for a time such as this one in our church. And there's a couple different ways that we want to invite you to get involved with us. And those 3 ways are being a partner, being a connector, and being an intercessor. Partner, we're very much still in the fundraising stage of this film. We have absolutely raised a good chunk, and we've got another little bit to go for sure before we can make this a reality. So that's one way. 2 is we really are looking for people to connect us to people that this is the right fit potentially to get involved. Maybe there's someone in your life that might want to get involved with us on either the partnership or the intercessor level, which is our 3rd way. So this film, in its absolute core, is simply, honestly, to bring people closer to the heart of God through specifically beauty. And therefore, because that is kind of the goal of the film, we know there's going to be resistance on the other end. And so we are asking people to come on board to pray with us, pray for us, pray for the people working on this project, and ultimately pray for the people that are going to be viewing it. So we want to invite you in any one of those 3 ways, or all 3 ways, to kind of partner with us and our organization to make this film a reality.